It is a blessing to be amongst you. The sixth word, and when Jesus had received the wine, said, "It is finished," bowed his head and handed over his spirit. John 19:30. After having endured an assault on his body, from being flogged and whipped, through public humiliation and dehumanization, forced to carry the very object that would be used to execute him through the Jerusalem streets, we find Jesus hanging here on Calvary, the subject of Roman brutality. As he physically maneuvers to push upward to exhale, he only induces more pain into his body. And at this juncture, every breath that he takes must be painfully won. His lungs eventually collapse with no more means of securing oxygen. As his breath becomes faint, he struggles to exhale. A slow suffocation ensues as he muffles these words, "It is finished." Jesus endures a state-sanctioned execution as Rome literally takes his breath away. One must ask the question, what is it about Jesus that Jewish leaders in bed with Roman colonizers want to take his breath away? What is it about black men and black women that makes us target of state-sanctioned violence, enduring police brutality, being tried, convicted, and executed right in our very own streets? What is it? Why do they want to take our breath away? The correlation between breathing and voice has significance. Breathing is necessary to amplify our voices. Air must pass over our vocal cords in order to speak. So if they take my breath away, they take away my voice. And if they take away my voice, they take away my influence in the community and in the streets. If they take it away publicly in these streets, on my own corner, on my own block, in my own neighborhood, they induce a communal violence. And the trauma is unleashed at a multiplied level. When I think of my brother, our brother Eric Garner, standing on the block in his own neighborhood, well known, well loved, but also hyper surveilled by the police. Staten Island, the police knew him, he knew them. This community peacemaker had just broken up a fight on the corner. And after some discussion, NYPD officer Daniel Pantaleo reaches around Brother Eric's neck from behind and pulls him downward. As three officers restrain him, Pantaleo continues his deadly chokehold on Brother Eric. Other officers come in and they hold his head down to the pavement. Not once, not twice, but nearly a dozen times, Brother Eric says, "I can't breathe from the concrete. I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Onlookers of police watch. The community witnessed this assault until his body becomes motionless. There, our brother Eric, your brother and my brother, lays alone, motionless and still handcuffed on the sidewalk for several minutes before the ambulance arrives. On his own block, minding his own business, publicly brutalized on his own corner in front of his community. Not one officer cared enough to stop when he said, "I can't breathe." Surely if Jesus didn't say these words, he thought it. I can't breathe. Nothing terrifies a system that thrives on intimidation, fear, force, and military might than when a revolutionary voice from the margins becomes center.
Come on, Eva.
And begins to bring the voice of his people center. When your voice is used to ask questions, to illuminate corruption and oppression of your own people, their immediate response response is to silence you, to strangulate you, to induce chokeholds, to suffocate you, to take our breath away, leaving our bodies limp, lifeless, and motionless, hanging on crosses, hanging and swinging from nooses, and laying on the block for all of the community to see. It is the use of his voice that landed Jesus at Calvary. Not just any use, but with his voice, he began to upset the whole social order. With his voice, he upset the religious hierarchies among the Jews, fully knowing these hierarchies were employed by the Roman colonizers as tools to oppress, suppress, and exploit his very own people for economic power and gain. Before taking his last breath, he lets us know that it is finished. Somebody ought to ask, what is finished? Is it just that he had fulfilled his destiny in dying on Calvary for our sins? Is it just so that we could sing such a perfect sacrifice, Jesus Christ, a lamb led to slaughter? What was finished?
Raise it.
No. It is finished encompasses more than that. It is finished encompasses how Jesus showed us how to resist corrupt systems that exploit and abuse our people. Remember, Jesus didn't just stay in Galilee under hyper-surveillance by the Pharisees. He took a ride of resistance on what we call Palm Sunday. As he entered Jerusalem, the epicenter of Israel's political life and power, the place where the trickle-down of oppression and marginalization started for his people. And with it, he resisted, he countered, and he symbolically established his kingship in a rival kingdom, which was echoed by a crowd that affirmed his sovereignty. It is finished. So not only should we focus that he surrendered to the cross, that he surrendered to Calvary like a lamb led to slaughter, but he also showed us the path of resistance. He showed us how to rebel and uncover corruption, even in our holy places, even amongst our own holy people. Although we worship him as Son of God, may we never forget, until his last breath, he was also an oppressed subject of Roman colonizers. And may we follow his lead. When we come to the completion of our life and we say that our life's work is complete, and when we say it is finished, it also encompasses rebellion, resistance, and protest against anything that oppresses our people, any unjust systems that exploits and suppresses the voice of our people. Maybe that'll be you taking a stab at America's criminal justice systems with its mandatory minimums and loopholes and sanctions executions of black men and black women even as they sleep. Maybe you will be an advocate for fair housing for the people in your neighborhood, or maybe you will check and stand against the patriarchal and homophobic tendencies of the institutional church. Just maybe, when you say it is finished, may it mean something more than just being a sacrifice. May it mean that you herald resistance. May it echo protest when you say it is finished. When they take your breath away, may you stand for resistance. May you echo protest. And may you speak for your people. It is finished.